Hi, I'm Ed with iToolco. We're here to show you our rope tender and a typical situation that one of our distributors or our end users would run into. We have a spool of rope here, a 7/8 by 1200 foot spool of rope that's come back to the distributor with the end user, the electrical contractor, asking them to whip another eye on the end. While they're doing that, while they're installing the eye on the end, they have to handle the rope. The contractor put it on a pallet, as you can see, had to get a forklift, load it on his truck, and the distributor, once again, had to take it off with a forklift and bring it into their warehouse and then figure out how they were going to transport it. They're going to subcontract it out to a rope company to put the eye in it. Meantime, I want to show you what would have happened if they had a rope tender to begin with. Jim is with one of our distributors. He's never used a rope tender before, so let me walk you through this, Jim. The first thing we're going to do, since the spool is so big, is we're going to take the handle off that. There's a pin at the top. Pop the pin off, pop the handle off, lay it on the chair, and take the top spike off, the top arm. Pull the pin on there, lift it off, bring it up to the top. Now you're just going to muscle this spool of rope behind me off the pallet. You're going to do it carefully without getting hurt. And we're going to line this thing up on the bottom spike. These spikes are meant to work without an axle. It's one of the patented features on the rope tender. So it's got a 5-inch spike on the end. It can work in arbor holes up to 4 inches in diameter. It'll take Jim a second to line it up. And then he pushes it up, drops it on top. There we go. Put the arm back on top. Normally the arm can stay on with both sides. You're going to reach out and pull the pin and let it drop on down. Going to balance it between his legs and drop it down to the final resting point, and then he's going to tighten it with the silver arm on there. Looks like that dropped in good, Jim. Now just tighten it up till it's snug. What we don't want to do here is over tighten these things. Sometimes people over tighten them. You can split the spool. You probably won't split this spool. It's a heavier spool. Once it's done, we'll put the handle back on top, and then I'll show you the final features of the rope tender. Putting that on backwards, there you go. All right, we'll put our pin in. And I just ask you to give a couple more snugs on that thing, Jim. It looked like it might not have been quite tight enough because it's such a heavy piece. And that'll be fine. Okay, now Jim can rock this back. See if one person can rock back a 300-pound spool with this. All right, now roll it over to me a little bit. Easy to transport. You got it at a balance point. Get it at a point where it weighs about 5 pounds. Roll up a little bit, so that's about it. So it's effortless, really, to roll it around like that. So put it down horizontally, lay it down on the ground, please. Drop your thing down. And now we're ready to pay off the rope. Jim, if you would, you're going to go out of the camera range here for a minute, but grab one of the ropes, untie it, and walk past the camera. And we're going to pull about 100 feet of rope off. All right, a little more. All right, that's good. We've got the idea. Come on back here, grab the slack out of there. Now, in the old days, what would you do, Jim? How would you turn it on? You would have put it on a jack stand, or you would have put an axle through there, jack stand, had somebody help you lift it up on there if it was too heavy for you to lift up, and then you would have started rolling it manually. Yep. So what's the chances of you ever taking all this rope off to inspect it both ends?
Zero.
Zero. Nobody's going to do it. It's not reasonable to think that somebody's working by themselves in a shop is going to do that. Now it's easy. It takes 3 minutes to put back on 1,200 feet of rope. 600-foot rope, which is more common, takes a minute and a half to put back on. So let's just show us how you reach out with the gloved hand. And when you turn the crank on the side, and cameraman, maybe you can get a picture of the crank as he's doing it. And watch how quickly this rope goes on. So we have a piece of equipment for moving the rope, and then paying the rope off, putting it back on and inspecting it and keeping it high and dry. So this expensive piece of rope is never put in a bucket, never put in a can, easy peasy. And one last thing, let's just finish it up by lifting it up and showing you transporting it. We're going to go about 12 inches, that's all it's going to take, and that's good. The viewers get the idea how it works. Thanks very much, and lift it back up, leave it vertically, and drop her on down. Thanks very much. Thank you for taking a look at the iToolco rope tender.